Good morning, You Can Heal family. I'm so glad that you're joining me this morning, trusting that you woke up and you're feeling pretty good. So I want to share what happened to me this morning. Actually it was yesterday morning for you, but I got up and I take my daughter to school, and when I came home, there were fire trucks and police and ambulance and a lot of vehicles in the neighborhood, and it turns out that my neighbor had passed away, and it made me really sad, and it made me really think and thought, what am I trying to say? It just really had me thinking about how quick life goes by. And this particular neighbor, we would meet at the bus stop mostly, and then when the pandemic hit, we just weren't didn't see each other as much and things like that. And she was just really super kind to me. She was a little bit older than me, well, a lot older than me. And she just poured a lot of wisdom into me during the time when I was deciding and then eventually going through with my divorce from my ex-husband. And her words were so helpful. She never told me what to do or never made me feel bad about, going back and just all the things I was going through, and just how much I valued those conversations. But, when the pandemic hit and we didn't have our bus stop chats after the kids got on the bus, it's just kind of like out of sight, out of mind. And, I just wish that I made more of an effort to walk up the hill to visit her. But I know her daughter lives in my neighborhood as well, and her grandkids and things like that. So there's still going to be a connection. But I guess my point in sharing this is, let's not miss opportunities to let the people who matter to us in our lives, let's not miss the opportunity to tell them, we're thinking of them, or, we love them. Saying I love you. The lady's daughter, I talked to her today after work, and she called her mom like she normally does every morning, but this time her mom just did not answer the phone. And, I called my mom after work today. I told my mom, I love you, Mom. I did. I told her, no matter what, my mom and I have been through over the years, there's been a lot of things between my mom and I, but when it comes down to it, what a position, to call the person and they'll no longer answer the phone. And that's what happened this morning with her daughter. She called her mom and her mom did not answer. So don't miss opportunities to tell people you love them. And if there's things that need to be worked out between you and someone else, do your best to work through the things that have hurt you, and do your best to repair a relationship. Not that it's ever going to be the same, but maybe have a new one, try to start something new and better, if it's safe for you, right? We're talking about healthy relationships here, not getting involved in something that's not good for you. But if there's someone you haven't talked to in a while and, you need to make an amends, maybe now's the time. But that just really hit me hard this morning, and life is very short. We don't know when God's going to call us home. She talked to her mom. Her daughter talked to her the night before, their normal conversation, and the mom, is looking forward to the next day, and she did not wake up this morning. So, yeah, take a deep breath there and just thank God for the time we do have on this earth, and do what we can to impact someone's life, right? And to say hello, and I miss you, and how are you, and I love you. All right, so that's what I wanted to share. So this morning we are going to look at 2 Chronicles chapter 28. I never introduced myself. My name's Shena. Glad you're here. We're reading through the Bible, kind of trying something new. I am a life coach. I've been through a lot of things in my life, if this is your first time listening, rape, molestation, abandonment issues, I mean, you name it, I've dealt with it. So I have a lot of life experience to offer to help you on your healing journey. So I'm going to be trying to do, some more sharing of my life and coaching and helping you along the way, but also I'm not leaving God out and reading our Bible every morning. So this will be a nice Bible devotion time, and as the Spirit leads, though, right? And I don't want to force information or knowledge or wisdom, right? If it's not God's thoughts, God's words. So let's leave it at that. All right, enough of that. Let's get to it. 2 Chronicles chapter 28, and we're moving right along, you guys. We're moving right along with this book. It says Ahaz was 20 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 16 years. He did not do what was pleasing in the sight of the Lord, as his ancestor David had done. Instead, he followed the example of the kings of Israel and cast images for the worship of Baal. He offered sacrifices in the valley of the son of Hinnom, even sacrificing his own sons in the fire. He imitated the detestable practices of the pagan nations whom the Lord had driven from the land ahead of the Israelites. He offered sacrifices and burned incense at the pagan shrines and on the hills and under every green tree. My goodness. So he was just going out of his way, like under every green tree. He's just offering sacrifices in pagan shrines. Think about that. People sometimes who sin, like they go out of their way to make sure they're just going to get that good sin in. It's like, is it really worth it, So moving on, defeat of Judah, verse 5. That is why the Lord his God allowed the king of Aram to defeat Ahaz and to exile large numbers of his people to Damascus. The armies of Israel also defeated Ahaz and inflicted many casualties on his army. In a single day, Pekah, son of Remaliah, Israel's king, killed 120,000 of Judah's troops because they had abandoned the Lord, the God of their ancestors. Then Zikri, a warrior from Ephraim, killed Maaseiah, the king's son. Azrikam, the king's palace commander, and Elkanah, the king's second in command. The armies of Israel captured 200,000 women and children from Judah and took tremendous amounts of plunder, which they took back to Samaria. But a prophet of the Lord named Oded was there in Samaria when the army of Israel returned home. He went out to meet them and said, "The Lord, the God of your ancestors, was angry with Judah and let you defeat them. But you have gone too far, killing them without mercy, and all heaven is disturbed. And now you are planning to make slaves of these people from Judah and Jerusalem. What about your own sins against the Lord your God? Listen to me and return these captives you have taken, for they are your own relatives. Watch out, because now the Lord's fierce anger has been turned against you." Then some of the leaders of Israel, Azariah, hold on, is that the right? Sorry. Then some of the leaders of Israel, Azariah, son of Jehohanan, Berechiah, son of Mishelmoth, Jehezekiah, son of Shallum, and Amasa, son of Adlai, agreed with this and confronted the men returning from battle. "You must not bring the prisoners here," they declared. "We cannot afford to add to our sins and guilt. Our guilt is already great, and the Lord's fierce anger is already turned against Israel." So the warriors released the prisoners and handed over the plunder in the sight of all the leaders and people. Then the 4 men mentioned by name came forward and distributed clothes from the plunder to the prisoners who were naked. They provided clothing and sandals to wear, gave them enough food and drink, and dressed their wounds with olive oil. They put those who were weak on donkeys and took all the prisoners back to their own land, to Jericho, the city of palms. Then they returned to Samaria. About the time King Ahaz of Judah asked the king of Assyria for help against his enemies, the armies of Edom had again invaded Judah and taken captives, and the Philistines had raided towns located in the foothills of Judah and in Negev. They had already captured Beth Shemesh, Ahijalon, Kedarab, Sokah with its villages, Timnah with its villages, and Gimzo with its villages, and the Philistines had occupied these towns. The Lord was humbling Judah because of King Ahaz of Judah, for he had encouraged his people to sin and had been utterly unfaithful to the Lord. So when King Tiglath-Pileser of Assyria arrived, he oppressed King Ahaz instead of helping him. Ahaz took valuable items from the Lord's temple, the royal palace, and from the homes of his officials, and gave them to the king of Assyria as tribute. But even this did not help him. Verse 22, idolatry of Ahaz. And this is from 2 Kings chapter 16. And when trouble came to King Ahaz, he became even more unfaithful to the Lord. He offered sacrifices to the gods of Damascus who had defeated him, for he said, "These gods helped the kings of Aram, so they will help me too. If I sacrifice to them," but instead they led to his ruin and the ruin of all Israel. The king took the utensils from the temple of God and broke them into pieces. He shut the doors of the Lord's temple so that no one could worship there, and then set up altars to pagan gods in every corner of Jerusalem. He made pagan shrines in all the towns of Judah for offering sacrifices to other gods. In this way, he aroused the anger of the Lord, the God of his ancestors. The death of Ahaz, verse 26. The rest of the events of Ahaz's reign and all his dealings from beginning to end are recorded in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. When King Ahaz died, he was buried in Jerusalem, but not in the royal cemetery. Then his son Hezekiah became the next king. So Ahaz just couldn't do right. Now, King Hezekiah, I believe he was the good king, right? That we read about in 2 Kings. So we'll look at chapter 29 tomorrow. It's not that long, but it's not short. So we'll just do that one tomorrow. But I want to thank you for tuning in and starting your day with me. Keep coming back and hearing the word and just getting that good Bible down in you. So if you made it to the end, let me know. Always remember, true healing begins with self-love. Why? Because God is love and he lives on the inside of you. Bye for now, and don't forget to reach out to someone today and let them know you love them. All right, bye.